Even though it's 80 degrees outside, we are in the midst of fall and I love it. I've got my cozy fall sweater on and I am so ready to be basic and eat all of the pumpkin goodies. My love of all things fall, though, stops at Thanksgiving. I'm not a huge Thanksgiving person. I never really have been. I don't like Thanksgiving food. My birthday is always right around Thanksgiving, so having birthday parties as a child really sucked. I decided to take on the task of making a pie. Instead of making one pie, why not make a pie for everybody? Then we remembered one of Emerson's favorite books as a kid was Harold and the Purple Crayon. Our favorite part of that book is when Harold makes a picnic on the beach. And he has all 9 kinds of pie that he likes best. I've never made a pie because I don't like pie. So we've selected 9 different pies. This is going to be a multi-day process. Yesterday we already made the dough. Today we're gonna make some pies. And tomorrow we will make even more pies, and then once they're ready, we will deliver them so that our families can enjoy them over the next week or so. I hope that you guys really enjoy this video and check out us making the dough. Because we've decided to be crazy people and make 9 kinds of pie, I am going to have to make regular pie dough. Cool thing is, I already had this pastry cutter, which I think is from Pampered Chef, if I'm not mistaken, which means I paid a lot of money for it. This is gonna help us cut the butter, and I read that this is essential, so thank goodness I already owned it. I have to make this dough recipe 4 times. But we're doing it 1 batch at a time because I don't have a bowl big enough to make 4 batches. And I need to make sure that the butter stays really, really cold. So we cut this into little cubes and I had it in the fridge for a few minutes just to make sure that it was still nice and cold. This really seems simple. We are using all the recipes from sallysbakingaddiction.com, which I'll link below. Could not have done this without her website. There's only a few ingredients to make the pie dough. And we settled on the all butter recipe just because I really didn't like the idea of using shortening, which I'm sure shortening dough is fine, but I feel like maybe that's why I don't like pie crust. So we're gonna use the all butter recipe. It calls for some ice water, sugar, flour, and salt. Super easy. I think we can do this. Emerson's gonna help to make sure that I do it correctly. My entire body hurts from just like the leverage of trying to cut the butter. Emerson's hands are super pruny because he just did all the dishes. Overall, I'd say this was interesting and fun. It only took us 1.5 hours to make all 4 batches, which I don't think really is that long of an amount of time. Tomorrow we will bake some pies and pre-bake some crusts for some cream pies. Dawned on me that this camera wasn't recording when I told you about this pie. So the first pie I'm doing is called a Southern egg pie or a Yankee sugar pie. This recipe is actually a family recipe from my friend Manda. I think it's her great aunt, their family recipe. But it is one of those typical grandma recipes where the ingredients are listed in weird ways, like butter the size of an egg, like I just did. And the baking instructions literally say, bake until done. I don't know how long that is. To this, I need to add 2 eggs, 2/3 of a cup of milk, and a teaspoon of vanilla. Seeing this pie come together, like the filling come together, I can see why it's called both an egg pie and a sugar pie, because it literally is eggs and sugar. There was a 1 1/3 cups of sugar here. Did I say that right? 1 1/3 cups of sugar. Okay, it's all mixed together. I'm getting kind of an oobleck effect with the fork and the sugar. Instructions say, pour into unbaked pie shell and bake at 325 until firm. Because it doesn't give me a time frame to bake it at, I'm going to start at 30 minutes. I was right in my assumption to bake it for at least a half hour, and we'll go from there. Because it doesn't specifically tell us how long to do anything, we're guessing with this pie. This recipe calls for an insane amount of blueberries. There's 6 cups of blueberries here. I grabbed one of the bigger discs of dough that I made, just because I was a little concerned with how small that one was last time. And the fact that this pie dish is so much bigger, I really wanted to make sure that the dough fit. Rolled out the second round of dough. I don't have a ruler that's like sanitary or something, so I'm gonna use this, and I'm just gonna start cutting the strips. I've got a lattice that I'm happy with. So now it says to pinch it into the bottom dough at the sides to, I guess, help it brown evenly. It says to lightly coat it with the egg and milk mixture and then sprinkle it with some raw sugar. It says coarse sugar. All I have was raw sugar, so I'm gonna use that. I'm assuming it's the same thing. One of the things that I really wanted to do with these pies is try and get them as close to the picture as possible. If you're not going to shoot for that as the goal, why are you making a pie, right? Like, why are you doing it from a recipe? The recipe for this strawberry rhubarb pie actually comes from my old high school drama teacher, and this is her grandmother's recipe for strawberry rhubarb pie. I'm excited to make it, and because there's absolutely no way I can eat 9 pies, it's just an excuse for me to see her later this week when I take her the rest of this pie. Got my fruit cut. It says 4 cups of rhubarb and 4 cups of strawberries are supposed to fit. I'm gonna go ahead and add the rest of the ingredients to this, which is orange zest, sugar, instant tapioca, stir it up and we'll let it rest. The topping now, and then I'll set that aside, and then that way once I'm done with the crust I can just assemble and we'll be good. This a little bit more evenly so it's not so mounded on the top, and really wishing I had done that crimp because I feel like that would have held it all in a little bit better. This particular apple pie calls for 3 different kinds of apples. Sally recommends doing Pink Lady, Fuji, and Granny Smith. I've sliced all 4 of the really big apples. This one will still be on standby for us, but I think that's going to be enough. Before I cut the edges off of this one, I want to fill it with the apples. It'll be the first one that I flute. I'm nervous, so I'm leaving myself as much room and as much time as possible. Blind baking this crust, and it just came out. I took the weights out and now I have to dock it by poking holes with a fork all the way around before I put it back in for another 15 minutes. It just came out of the oven and I'm not sure exactly what happened, but if you look closely you can see that it shrank down on this side. This side is still up high above the rim, but this side over here shrank down underneath the level of the pie pan. I think I've decided that it's my oven because it shrank on this side and this side is fine too. Pretty sure it's the oven. And the crimp came out of this one even though I left it in the fridge for a lot longer. So these are things that I just don't know how to fix. Attempt at dulce de leche according to Sally's Baking Addiction. This is 1 can of sweetened condensed milk in a baking sheet filled halfway with water. I'm going to cover it loosely with foil and then check it in an hour. I just uncovered the dulce de leche and look how beautifully brown it is. There's a few bubbles. Looks really good. I need to pull it out and cover it. Back for day 3. These recipes are actually the most technically complicated that I've seen so far. And that's because I'm doing 2 custard, actually, I think most of them are considered custard or pudding pies. And we've got double boiling and all kinds of insane things that I've not done before, at least not successfully. So I have to keep this moving for about 10 minutes apparently, and I need an instant read thermometer. So we're gonna pull the soaping thermometer because that's the only instant read thermometer that I actually have. I'm really nervous that this is going to cook the egg in like a scrambled way, which I guess that's why I have to keep it moving, but I've seen many a pro TV chef fail at doing this, so this is the very first time I've ever done this before. So now that it's off the double boiler, I'm going to let it cool for 10 minutes. Okay, now I have to stir in the chocolate. Our time is up, so I'm going to turn this on low speed and put the chocolate in. Once the chocolate is out of the bowl, I'll turn it up and actually whip it. This is one of the pie crusts that I made last night. And I'm just gonna go ahead and spread the filling in. So here's our chocolate one. This needs to go in the fridge for 4 to 6 hours. This is the last pie crust I have to roll out. This is the pumpkin pie, and I have to put the filling into the warm pie crust, which is why I didn't pre-bake this one last night. So rolling out one more. My arms are killing me. So I still have not successfully had a pie come out with a fluted edge. So I'm going to attempt this one again. Cross my fingers that it comes out. Even after chilling, like the ones that I pre-baked last night, I rolled out, put in their pie pans, fluted, and then refrigerated. And even in the blind baking, they didn't stay. Don't know what I'm doing wrong. Again, if you know, please tell me. I'm gonna start on the filling, even though the pie is gonna come out pretty quickly, because I do have to pour this into a warm crust. It started to shrink a little bit, and my fluting again did not take. Top of the pumpkin pie, Sally recommends that we do sugared cranberries and pie dough leaves, like to decorate the top of the pie. I forgot to do the cranberries last night and they have to sit overnight. We're just gonna do a bunch of leaves and set them on top. Cute. This one's a little sad, but I think it's because he was thicker than the rest of them. But I love these golden brown ones. I think they look really cute on the top of the pie. This one requires me to actually cook something on the stove again. So, but this one is probably the most special. We are taking this one to David's grandmother because it is her favorite kind of pie. I only need the yolk, so I'm going to save the whites because I don't want to waste them. So this part is a waiting game, it seems. I have to wait for this to boil set to medium. I'm very impatient and I always boil like pasta on high until it starts to actually boil and then I turn it down. But because this is milk, I know it has to be gentle. Okay, we're boiling. Boil for 2 minutes. Need to get a ½ cup of this mixture though and slowly incorporate it into this mixture. Remove from heat and stir in the coconut, butter, vanilla, and coconut extract. This one shrank quite a bit. You can see I can easily lift it out. I think it's okay because this pie is going to be tall and nice. Second to last pie. This one's not difficult. It seems less difficult, I'll say that. But I am gonna make a graham cracker crust from scratch again. Last night I did one for the pie I'm gonna do next, and that one was a little bit difficult to get pressed into the pan. I had to end up adding more butter because it was too dry. Seemed to bake up okay, still looks good in the fridge, it hasn't crumbled. So let's hope I don't have to do that for this one. But I'm gonna get the butter melted and then start pulverizing the graham crackers and macadamia nuts. The crust is in the pie pan, and now I gotta pop it in the oven for 8 minutes. I finally got 1 cup of juice, and I had to resort to adding regular lime and lemon juice because I was not about to continue to squeeze like 8 dozen of these damn things. The recipe calls for key lime juice, so if you can find that at your store, buy that. I'm gonna get the rest of the filling made so I can get it in the freaking pie dish so we can get this pie done. You know, aside from having to squeeze the limes, this is a very easy recipe. I'm gonna pop this in the oven for 15 to 20 minutes. I'm doing the last pie. I saved the easiest one for last. This recipe literally is the crust, dulce de leche, bananas, and whipped cream. Emerson mentioned when we were making the pie, he thought this was a banana slicer. And looking at it, I can get pretty perfectly even banana slices if I use this. So I'm gonna try it. This is the pastry cutter that we used the other day to make the dough. Oh, it works. Oh, they're perfect. I think what I'm gonna do before I keep slicing, the caramel goes in first and then the bananas go on top. So I think I'm just gonna transfer the bananas directly to. Where I can put the whipped cream topping on all of these pies, and then all 9 of my pies are done. Made 9 beautiful pies. This one is my absolute favorite. I cannot believe I did such a pretty lattice on one of my very first pies. Freaking stoked. The coconut one smells amazing. There's like coconut shreds. The key lime is just really cute. I like all the little limes. I'm excited for David to try this apple pie since I've never actually made him an apple pie before. I am so excited to eat this one. The Banoffee looks amazing. Emerson's really excited about the chocolate one. I told you guys already. And my favorite part about the pumpkin is the little leaves on top. I think it's just so freaking cute. All the pies have been cut. Everything is kind of everywhere, but I'm going to taste them all and then pass along the plate to everybody else in the house because there's absolutely no way I'm going to eat 9 slices of pie. When David suggested that I do 9 kinds of pie, I thought he was insane. It was fun. I learned a lot about myself making these pies. I learned a lot about pie making these pies. I learned that I don't hate pie crust. I hate fake pie crust, like store-bought pie crust. This all butter one was delicious. And adding a little bit of sugar on top, even better, obviously. I'm excited to share these pies and get them the heck out of here because I do not need 9 pies in this house. Leave a comment down below of what you'd like to see me try for the first time. Could be anything. Suggest it, and if I haven't done it, it'll go into the hat. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. We're growing every single day and inching closer and closer to my 1,000 subscriber goal. And don't forget to click the bell icon so that you get notified when I post new videos. There's a very special video coming up this week that you do not want to miss. So please make sure to click that button so that you get notified when that video comes out. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!